In this episode, we talked to a digital marketer, very well experienced digital marketer who turned life coach and has a lot of insight that you could benefit from on this program. And I can't wait for you to hear my good friend Sheryl Cattell that will be talking about some tools and essentially life around marketing. And so I'm excited to dive into that conversation with you. But before I do that, please give us a review on our podcast. Let us know how we're doing. That's very, very helpful when you can leave a review and for us to know how what we need to work on and improve on. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast as well, and share this with other folks that you think would benefit from. So, without further ado, let's dive into a chat with Sheryl Cattell. Sheryl, it's so great to have you here. Welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Ricardo. Happy Friday. I don't know that we're going to play this later, but I'm just so glad it's Friday and I'm
Yeah,
sharing it.
happy Friday. Happy Friday. Friday is a it's every day is Friday, so we're excited about that because it's like can't wait for the weekend. Well,
Yeah.
we'd love for our listeners to know who you are. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I would say if I had to pick a title, I am a digital marketer who has now turned and become a life coach. I probably started in digital back in 1995, a long time ago, at LexisNexis, and I've worked for some great companies. I've been VP, CMO, Senior Director of Marketing for Bank of America, Travelocity, Mary Kay, eDiets, Blue Green Resorts. I founded two interactive marketing associations because that's really my passion, right? That
Mhm.
sort of comes back to that because I really do love interactive and digital marketing because it's never stagnant. It never gets old. It's always changing. There's always something new. So yeah, so that's kind of what I do. What I love and what I have passion for is digital marketing. And now my newfound passion is helping people figure out what they want to be when they grow up. Life coaching and helping them find their purpose and helping them find tools that can help them enjoy and find more happiness in their life. So
That's amazing, and it's this is exactly what the show is dedicated to: is helping listeners to navigate the treacherous waters of life and marketing and business, and their tools that helps you to grow. So tell me a little about how you got to this point. I know you've always been in the space, but did you always wanted to do marketing?
actually, no. I think when I was in college, I wanted to go into sales because, that's where all the money is.
Hmm.
And I mean, I truly believe if you're good at selling, then that money will come to you. If you generate revenue, easy. So I did that when I first got out of college, and I found it very difficult. And so there were some marketing assignments that came open that I jumped on and I enjoyed. So then I went back to school and got my MBA and had a focus in marketing. And then when I was teaching at the University of Virginia, I taught for a while at the McIntyre School of Business,
Hmm.
and this internet thing was, really blowing up on campus. And I just gravitated to it and joined LexisNexis for a while, and then was recruited to become the vice president of an online gaming company.
Mm.
So online gaming, as in multiplayer BattleTech and Air Warrior and fantasy role playing games, and no sex involved. But anyway, it was really eye opening to me to have this whole digital world open up, and so. But now I've kind of made another shift,
Hmm.
and I think I decided that there's more to life than making a company a lot of money, and I think that's what marketing and salespeople do. And I've decided I want to make a difference and change lives for the good. I know it sounds like, apple pie and, Superman, but just in the, I guess, since the pandemic started, and when I lost my first job during the pandemic,
Hmm.
I started life coaching because somebody asked me to. They asked me to be their coach, and I said, "What the hell is this?" So anything I do, I just grab it with both horns, and I jumped on. And now I've gone through all the schooling, and I'm a master certified life coach, and it's amazing to watch somebody's life transform right before your very eyes. I, there's no amount of money that can replace that. So
Amazing. That's a fantastic journey. And so you are really a transformer. Like you are a part of that transformative effort in making people's life different. Um,
well, let me
tell
say,
us.
can I say something? Can I say something
Yes,
about that?
yes.
Because what's interesting is I think the thing that people, what attracts them to me,
Hmm.
is the fact that I have such a solid business experience, right?
Mm,
If they go to somebody who's trained in psychology or psychoanalysis or something, they get all of those tools, but I'm really all about like how do you make it work in business? How do you make it work in life? How do you navigate corporate America? And having that experience, a lot of times people are attracted to me because I do a lot of LinkedIn webinars, free webinars, just helping, sharing, telling people. I think that's what digital marketing is about because it changes so much. We all help each other.
hmm.
And a lot of people come to me for, oh, can you help me with my profile? And before the end of the second session, I'm their life coach
Yeah,
because there's so much more. But it's a good way to start talking and to be
yeah.
able to relate, and they know that I can relate and I know where they're coming from, and it's just it's really gratifying. So
Yeah, and you've touched on something which we're going to be talking about because you've been phenomenal. You're like the queen of LinkedIn. I don't know why Reid Hoffman didn't find you and have you up into LinkedIn HQ and helping them to transform that. But you've shared so much about LinkedIn with us, and we wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit
sure.
on this chat. So talk to us a little about LinkedIn from your perspective and help our listeners to understand what it really is, and how really it is different from what has happened in the past in terms of
Hmm.
where we are today with the ability to have this kind of intrinsic connection with each other.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love this topic, Ricardo, and I could talk all day. I think that the biggest thing is that LinkedIn is not your mother's LinkedIn. Okay. Once upon a time, LinkedIn was where you went when you needed a job. So there were all these poor souls that needed jobs out there just begging somebody to find them on LinkedIn. And that is absolutely not the case anymore. They have transformed that platform. It is now the single largest social media networking platform for B2B. There's
Mm-hmm.
hands down the number that they, I think that LinkedIn reported about 50% of all traffic to B2B sites is coming from
Hmm.
in social media from LinkedIn, and that Twitter and Facebook and the others fail, just they pale by comparison.
Wow.
So what's happened is that a lot of people that are successfully leveraging this tool are using it as an engagement mechanism, a place to engage, a place to meet people, a place to share and develop relationships.
Hmm.
And then in business, you want to do business with people you trust, you have confidence in, that have some expertise. And LinkedIn is a beautiful platform to be able to build those things in real time and
Yeah.
to build them across, it's not like going to the chamber of commerce, right? You can build it across many borders, states, countries, regions of the globe. You're no longer limited
Yeah.
by physical proximity, and I think it's just extremely exciting. The other thing is that since Microsoft bought LinkedIn, they've made a lot of investments, and the platform is getting better every day. I swear every day I log in, I'm like, okay, what's new, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
came on the other day and I went to somebody's profile, and their headshot was a video, and I said,
Hmm.
what? How'd they do that? And there's no like fanfare, no announcement, like, oh, now you can put video. So
Right.
what am I doing? I'm telling all the people I know, right? And that's kind of the word of mouth, like you found a good restaurant, and so you tell all your friends, come on, come check this out. And then the other thing that happened is somebody gave me a tip and said, you can have people follow you. Instead of connecting with you, have them follow you. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that sounds really narcissistic. Why would I do that? Well, guess what? I said, okay, I'm going to do it for one day and see what
Mhm.
happens.
Mhm.
I did it for one day. The next time I logged into LinkedIn, they said, would you like to use creator mode? Because you are a creator of content and because you have 5,000 people following you, you are inviting you. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
LinkedIn events, another amazing addition that they've added. LinkedIn Live, right? So you go live, and everybody who's connected to you is notified. Hey, check out Sheryl. She's telling you the latest and greatest on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. So it's amazing to me to watch the platform grow, expand, morph, and people are finding new ways to make it support and grow their business. And that's the exciting thing. It is definitely a platform that is on the move.
Yeah, it is absolutely exciting, and you mentioned something about just that organic growth. Without they just were able to just add features and add functions, and before you know it, like it's just circulating around. Everybody's telling their friends and their connection. You
Here's a
also,
stat for you. Here's a stat for you.
uh
2 people join LinkedIn every second.
oh wow,
That makes my head hurt.
wow, every second,
Every second. That was
it's
now that's
crazy.
reported by LinkedIn, their own stats, if you believe them. But that's still a bunch of people.
That's amazing. And still, people don't realize that this tool could be very useful for them. Which brings me to my next point. Right?
Mhm.
Like, who is this tool for? Because you did start by saying this is not your grandmother's LinkedIn, and a lot of people probably just still have this notion on
Mhm.
LinkedIn that, hey, I don't want to be on there because it's for people who are looking for jobs or people who are trying to change a career. So,
Mhm.
who is LinkedIn really for? Like, what's the target?
Well, I think that, like I said, for the most part, it's B2B, but every person who's looking for a job is in looking to usually work for a business or start their own business. So after you've got your job, most people are not looking for jobs, right? The unemployment rate is pretty low right now. And
Mhm.
there's actually here in Florida, there's more jobs than there are people.
Yeah.
Come on down. But I think that the opportunity is for especially companies to help improve the credibility of their sales team, to help improve the credibility of the company, to have a united, organized front, right? You want to put forth your best foot. If you're going to see a client, you're not going to show up in sweatpants and tennis shoes. You're going to come prepared, and you're going to have all of your ducks in a row in terms of, these are all the people I'm doing business with. These are all the industries I'm in. These are some of my projects. Guess what? You can put all of that on LinkedIn and promote that with just adding a link to your profile right in your signature on your website. Um, if somebody is looking to do business with you, good chance is they're going to check you out on LinkedIn. And what did I say before? People don't buy from companies, they buy from people they trust. And
Yeah.
LinkedIn is a wonderful tool to help build thought leadership, credibility, and trust.
Yeah.
So it's also a good place to screw it up, too, right? I
Right.
mean, I have the people that are, hitting me with the bots and, hey, let's connect. And then boom, I start getting these automated messages, which by the way, I want to mention that using automated tools is against the terms and conditions of LinkedIn. And you could be banned from using the platform, not just the tool.
Yeah.
So I'm not a really good fan of those, but there's a lot you can do in terms of just person to person relationships. And I think that's the really who the tool is for is anybody who's trying to build a business, start a business, support sales to other businesses. Um, that you want to have your house in order. You want to make sure your profile and your presence is going to be reflective of what you want that client to think of you.
Awesome, and that's so great because the thing about LinkedIn now is like you ask like what else is there? Like what's that alternative? So like how is this
Yeah.
different from something else? Like it's not like you could go to Walmart and you could say, oh, like let's go to Publix or or the probably just go to Target, but like LinkedIn. And I'm curious to know like, what's your answer to that? Like how is this sort of different? Like are there other tools that are like the alternate to LinkedIn? And even how are they different from what people probably used in the past?
Hmm. That's a good question. Somebody just invited me to a new platform, and I think that all of the wannabes
Mhm.
to LinkedIn have not survived. I would say the closest thing you have might be Twitter, but when you think about the people that use Twitter and get banned for it,
Mhm.
that's not the kind of people I want to hang out with, right? I it's those platforms have so much garbage on them, not professional, not not moderated, not validated. I think you're right, Ricardo. I don't see a viable alternative to
Mhm.
LinkedIn, and maybe that's what's great about it. But they're not resting on their laurels, even though the competition for them is really not there. They're almost like a monopoly. But they could make a case, right, that Twitter and Facebook, are also driving B2B, but it doesn't hold a candle. I can't think of any platform for social networking in the business field that could hold a candle to LinkedIn.
This podcast is sponsored by MeisterTask, the most intuitive task manager on the web. MeisterTask is an easy to use project management tool, makes it easy and fun and colorful to get all your projects managed in one place. As an entrepreneur, I use MeisterTask to help me manage all of my projects. I can drag and drop different tasks. I can assign key people to the task. I can set deadlines and schedules and enjoy just beautiful colors while I do that. If you are interested in trying MeisterTask, go to meistertask.com/DMT tools. That's meistertask.com/DMT tools. And you can sign up for a free trial when you upgrade to the pro plan. So get started for free today and invite your team members and get productive together. And so many people are actually sort of plugging into it. And I just saw Dun and Bradstreet now have a platform, and a lot of what they're showing in that platform is plugged back into LinkedIn, right? So
Yeah,
it's
makes
very, very
sense.
interesting around. It's not even so much more the business anymore, but it's the people who make those business up because you have to like and trust them for them to kind of want to do business with you. So,
Exactly.
so, so tell me about some things that I know we talked about some of the stuff that can be done, but um, anything else that's kind of more practical that you could say to a listener that what you could actually do on LinkedIn? Maybe start with the profile. Let's get a
Hmm.
profile profile overhaul. Like, what are some other things that you could practically do there with this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, you start at the top and work your way down. The first thing is that big, huge, giant billboard, real estate. And whenever I see somebody who's just got the gray background that's default, I just cringe. That's like you go out and you've built this billboard on I-95 and it's blank.
Yeah.
It's just sad, right? This is like location, location, location. That's the single most valuable piece of real estate is what you put in your banner. And there are tools on Canva. If you go to canva.com, you just type in LinkedIn banner and it'll pull up the perfect size. You don't have to worry about, oh, what size is it? And they
Mm-hmm.
have hundreds, literally hundreds of templates you can pick from. Or do like what I've done is I've put together a collage of some of my favorite things in life. One of the meetings I had with Romeo Brito, the Brazilian artist, there's a picture of us talking intently at the Norton Museum. And let's see, I think the other one is winning an award. So you put things that have meaning and showcase what you do, what you love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first place I'd start is make sure you have a banner up there and make sure that it's also personalized, something that means something to you. Now, I have been working with a compliance company, and there's basically they have the big three at the top. And what they're going to do is they're going to put a picture of the three of the top people in the organization and a little bit about the company, and they're going to put it on all three of their profiles. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a nice tie in. It's a nice way to say, yes, we are in business and we're here to do business. And this is what we are and who you're going to get as a result. So, that's another way. I've also seen people use it as a way to promote upcoming podcasts. Ricardo,
Yeah,
you could be putting the promotions for your upcoming podcast as part of your banner, your LinkedIn banner.
absolutely.
And just change it out. There's no rules. You can change it as often as you want. So then let's move down to the headshot. So the headshot, just make sure you spend the money and get a professional headshot. I don't care what your excuses are. If you're here in South Florida, I got a guy for $200. He'll come over to your house with his mask and gloves and whatever you need, and he'll take these amazing headshots and deliver them to you with transparent backgrounds, with white backgrounds, with black backgrounds, with whatever you need. And I'm telling you, it's worth it to make the investment in yourself. Now, if seriously you are down and out and don't have any money and you've got this really kind of hokey picture of you at a party and somebody's got a cocktail in the background, go to remove.bg and get rid of the drink. Unless you're in the party planning business, this is a business platform. You don't show up to a business meeting with your tennis shoes and your sweatpants. So
Yeah.
that's the next thing I do. And then probably the second most important thing on that page. Oh, and by the way, you can now add a video
Mm-hmm.
using just the mobile app. You have to do it on your mobile app, but there's a way to add a video now to your headshot. It's called Add a Cover Story. And you record it right on your phone, and boom, when somebody comes to your profile, that video, the first 10 seconds will play. It's pretty cool, actually.
Nice.
So, but that's just kind of like whiz bang, right? You don't need that. The next thing is the title, and it defaults, and most people don't realize that it's the name of the company they're at and their current position. So what you want to do is you want to go in and get rid of the default and write a story about you and why you are unique in all the world, and I know you are, and what makes you the person that somebody might want to do business with. So you want to make sure you say, I'm in business. What kind of business? And this is what I do. And I'm ready to do business. And this is why you want to do business with me. So that's kind of, you've got 220 characters and you just have to be a little creative. But use those characters wisely, use all of them, and don't leave it as a default. All right. And then I think the last thing, just since we have such a little amount of time, I mean, I literally could go on for hours, maybe about 10 hours in an upcoming class, um, would be the About section.
Mm-hmm.
You have to add it. It doesn't just come, it's not part of the package. So you have to go up to the top where it says Add a section, do a drop down, let's select the About. And this is your keyword repository. All right. You want to get all of your keywords, anything that someone would be searching for that would lead them to you because of what you do. So that's where you want to put those all right in the About section. And also, I always recommend clients use a first person in the About. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for your experience, you say, I delivered, doubled doubled profitability, or those kinds of things. But in the about section, you say, I am passionate about
Yeah.
helping people become the star of their life. I am passionate about translating business needs into marketing solutions. So that's where you tell people what it is that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning and just run to work, whatever work you're doing. So those are probably the highlights of the profile section or of your individual profile page. And I would definitely recommend, if you have a business page, that your efforts be about 95% on your own profile and about 5% on your business. In
Oh,
my
nice.
opinion, the only thing that I really use my business page for, I do a daily post, but that we can talk about that later. But the only thing I use it for is so that when I put my logo on my personal profile, there's a logo for the business. And
Mhm.
that's the main reason you have to have a business page with the logo in order for it to show up on your personal profile.
Yeah.
That's the number one reason why you want a business page.
Well, that's a lot of great nuggets, and I think you listeners can just go right away into LinkedIn and just take advantage of some of those feedback that we shared, and improve their LinkedIn. And another question that's usually asked is, so it's a public sort of utility tool, and how can we integrate this or with other tools? Can it actually be integrated with other tools out there? Like, what are some of the ways that you've seen LinkedIn work in tandem with other tools?
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember what the analytics program. I subscribe to the analytics program. I think it's called Sheets. And I didn't think it was worth the money. I know you can also do Sales Navigator, and that's going to cost you about $80 a month.
Hmm.
And I think the most I think the most important stat, Ricardo, is that 94% of the people on LinkedIn are using the free version with no plugins, no add-ons, no
Right.
additional cost.
Yeah.
Now, they do have some, for salespeople, hardcore salespeople that want to have the CRM integration. Sales Navigator does have a lot of value. Um, However, I would advise people, until they're fully leveraging the free tools, don't invest any more money, right? If you're not totally to the hilt
Mhm.
maximizing what's available for free, what makes you think if you're going to spend money, you're going to do better?
Yeah.
You won't. You won't. So that's always what I advise my clients. And I love Brett Spodak. He gave a great talk at BizHack about how he's using LinkedIn to generate referrals, and hats off to him. And he can definitely justify the cost of Sales Navigator, but he had already maxed out everything on the free side, so there's a place for it.
Yeah, and then obviously, for folks who are listening, we know it's a free tool. There's no charge there. I mean, we did mention like Sales Navigator that you will pay for that if you need to use it. But what I've seen some profiles, I've seen some folks who are just totally hesitant to wanting to even have a LinkedIn profile. Some
Mm,
profiles that I've seen that have no pictures at all, no setup. What would you say to those folks? I mean, any of those are or listeners.
hmm
What would you say to those guys who are just reluctant in getting LinkedIn set up?
So I would, if they were my client, I'd probably say get a business life. Right? It's like going to a networking event without a business card. That's
Yeah,
that's what I feel. And if you're going to make a business card, do it the best you can. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to leave a good impression. And so, yeah, my advice is get a business life and really take it serious. If you take your business, your career seriously, if you take what you do in business seriously, it's like the minimum bar that you need to get into the networking event, right?
yeah,
Somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, can I have your card?" And you say, "No, I don't have one." That's really the equivalent. If somebody you're talking to them about potentially doing business with you, and they go, let me see, let me check out Ricardo. What's going on with Ricardo? Where has he been? What has he done? Who does he know? Let me see who he knows that I know, that I'm going to call them and say, hey, I'm thinking of spending a boatload of money with this Ricardo guy. What do you think? If you haven't taken the time to build those connections, to put your profile out there, to build it out, and to really talk about who you are and what you stand for, that's going to be a very, very quick process. They're going to go, blank blank billboard, headshot with a cocktail in the background. Probably not the kind of guy I want to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know that you've had business, you've worked in corporate, and you're now a coach, and none of those things that's been going on for years, and I know none of those things are easy. Um, how have you actually done it, and what would you say has been the best thing that has happened over all these years of experience that you have?
Hmm. I would say the best things that I've learned is really tenacity and persistence. I think that especially in digital marketing or any new field in like AI or VR, virtual reality or artificial intelligence or machine learning, anything like that is going to require you to have curiosity, right? So, tenacity, because not everything's going to be laid out to you on a silver platter. Persistence to find the answer, to keep going until you figure it out. Curiosity to say, hey, that guy's eating donuts in his profile picture. How can I do that?
Yeah.
Right? Curious. And then I think the resilience is another thing because you're not going to always be successful. You're going to fail. And I always like to say, fail forward fast. And my personal favorite saying of all time is that you want to focus on timely implementation over delayed perfection.
Yeah.
And that's really the things I've learned about being in business for this many years. And and then the last thing, which is not the last thing, is the best friends that I've made along the way. I think the connections, the amazing heartfelt experiences and things we've shared, and I would say that most of my best friends I've met, either in business, South Florida IMA to be exact, or at church. So, finding people that you resonate with, finding people that you share values with, and making those connections, those heartfelt connections. I think that's the meaning of life, Ricardo. You can say it. I told you right here on this show. The meaning of life is to give and receive love, and
Yes.
that's the best thing about being in business this long. Lots
That's
of love.
that's an absolute. I mean, that's the secret, right? That is it right there. And it's no longer secret, folks, because it's out. You need that. You need that to be in business that long. Sheryl, is there anything that I did not ask you that you'd love to share with us today?
Yes, there is actually one thing. I want to say this because there's a lot of hesitancy about hiring a life coach. And what
Yeah.
I want to say is if you have ever in your life hired a personal trainer to work on your body, then you might want to think about hiring a life coach to work on your life because it's probably more important. And that they provide an accountability partner that has been there and done that and can help save you years and years and years of trial and error. It doesn't have to be me. I'm just saying, in theory, if you're willing to spend money to train your body, spend the money to get a coach, a life coach. It's totally worth it. I have a life coach as well, so I put my money where my mouth is. It's probably the best thing I spend money on every month.
Awesome. That's absolutely amazing. And as I'm thinking about what I didn't ask you, and I wanted to ask about the books that you're reading, because I know listeners, I mean, just having someone like you on the show, we really kind of want to also sort of see what you're reading, what podcasts do you listen to, and where are some of the places that you hang out. So maybe we can start with the books. What are the books that you've perhaps read that you would recommend or are currently reading?
Oh, the ones I've read, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I read it twice and listened to the podcast as well. He has a regular podcast. I get his email newsletter. Simon Sinek, Start with Why. A big fan of his. I also get his daily quotes. He tries. He's what is. I think his saying is, he wants to give the best content in the shortest amount of time, or something. That he says it
Right.
much more eloquently. But I love Simon Sinek's daily inspirations. I just read. This is a little out there. This I just read a book called Mental Equivalence, and it's written by Emmett Fox back in 1940. And the premise of the book is that your life is an outpicturing of how much you can see in your mind. In other words, my limitations in my own mind are the only thing that limit my life. And
Hmm.
that if I open up my mind and see a bigger possibility, my life will reflect that mental equivalent. It's kind of
Hmm.
out there,
Wow.
but extremely powerful. And it's an interesting guy. And
That's
it
great.
was a long time ago. So anyway, so that those are some of the books that I've read. Podcasts. I love the Happiness Lab, which is it's put out by the Yale University, the professor who does the Science of Well-being class.
Mhm.
It's the number one most popular course on the campus at Yale University. I don't know how many millions of people. Last time I saw it was like 2.5. I'm sure it's more than that. Have
Mhm.
people have taken the class, and she has a podcast. The course is available on Coursera for free, and I can definitely guarantee you if you go through the course and do the rewirements, your happiness quotient will increase. It's just a proven fact. It's amazing. It's a great thing. So I do enjoy her podcasts on a regular basis. In terms of Clubhouse, okay, you asked me should we talk about it? Well, I have to say this. I have a dear friend who invited me, gave me one of the unicorns, the invitations, the very limited invitations,
Mhm.
early on. I mean, this was very early on. And I used to go on whenever I got a notice that she was on and, oh, go in and pop in and talk to Jennifer. Jennifer Hudson is the person. And not the singer, sorry, a friend, a dear friend of mine. And then I found myself like getting sucked into, they have hospitality rooms, they have digital marketing. Oh my God, digital marketing rooms, entrepreneurial rooms, how to, get rich quick rooms. This is what I found, Ricardo, is it was a huge time suck. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't think I get on probably more than once a week is a lot. And I like Dennis Yu, and write this down. He's probably somebody you should invite to be on your podcast. So it's Dennis YU.
Mhm. Mhm.
Big fan of Dennis. Been followed his career from Yahoo to I don't know where he is now, but he's always been like an evangelist for brands, and great guy. I love always love his pod. I love his clubhouse rooms. So I'll stop in when he's on as well. And so there you go.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. I actually chatted with Dennis. We've been talking about him coming on here, so
Absolutely, he'd be great.
that's another plug for you, Dennis. So we gotta get you on the show, buddy. But that's awesome. We're always looking for creators and master users of these different tools that sometimes non-tech savvy businesses don't know about, or they don't know much about it to really dive into it and start growing and control their growth. And so, any kind of recommendations that of a guest, and you shared Dennis, rightly so. Anyone else that you think that would classify or would be considered
Mhm.
a creator or master user of some of these tools that we can help these small businesses out?
Yeah, I would give you. I think Jay Berkowitz would be an excellent resource for you. He's actually here in Boca.
Hmm.
But he's an awesome speaker. He speaks very frequently at many conferences, and he's one of those guys, the curious. always on the bleeding edge. But I think he'd be an awesome person to have on your podcast. I think you would enjoy him a lot, a lot.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Well, this is so powerful. This was so educational. I think I definitely need a life coach. So you're on, you're my life coach, and every time that we talk, this like working me down the funnel, and this is the day. So we gotta get this life
Oh,
thing going, Cheryl. So
oh, that's sweet, Ricardo.
we want that to happen, and this is public, so I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
already out there.
Accountability. You got it.
The
Accountability is
listeners are gonna hold me
huge.
accountable. Like, yeah, you got to get a life coach. And no,
Love
guys,
that.
if you're listening, like, what Cheryl says, like, for everything in your life, there's a spiritual coach, which is your pastor and those folks who help you out there. For fitness, you've got someone, and so there's all these different dimensions of life. You need the kind of to surround yourself with the kind of people, and that can actually help you to improve those aspects. And why not life? Life is beautiful, and there's always help that's available, and Cheryl is one of those persons. So it was great to have you on this
Can
show.
I say one more plug? If
Yes,
there's
yes.
anybody that wants to go to the next level on LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
I the press release isn't supposed to go out for another month, but I've just signed an agreement to develop a LinkedIn class for BizHack
Beautiful.
Academy.
Beautiful. Awesome.
So I think our first class will kick off with the school year in September 13th. So anybody who wants more information, wants to get their profile in order, I'd highly recommend it. So it'll
Nice,
be
nice.
fun.
And Cheryl, share with you, if you may, your website for PLC, and where can folks connect with you outside of
Yeah.
here.
So for life coaching, go to Personal Legend Coaching right
Yeah.
here, just like it says
Mhm.
.com. And for the LinkedIn, go to bizhack.com. So
Nice.
that's where we'll be. We'll meet up for the LinkedIn digital marketing expertise. So
Awesome. Amazing. Well, this is great. Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I've
thank
learned a
you.
lot, and we will see you again. I would love to know how the program that you're putting together with Dan. And Dan has been on this show, and he's a great guy. So I
Love
know
Dan.
this is gonna be amazing. So thank you, and we look forward to chatting with you soon, Cheryl.
All right. Mwah.
That was Sheryl Cattell. Beautiful, powerful conversation. Learned so much, and about LinkedIn, about life, and about some of the things that you can really, really benefit from as you grow, as you choose tools to rule your growth. And who knew that LinkedIn was so powerful, and every day it's been changing. You haven't been on there yet, you really need to check it out, because this would be really helpful. So thank you guys for listening. We really appreciate that. Please leave us a review, subscribe to our podcast. Go ahead and share this podcast with others that you know would benefit. And we can't wait to see you in another episode to talk with you and to drop some nice, insightful tool to rule your growth. Until next time, we'll talk soon.